having a crazy thought that one day in the future he might be watching this.
So Tucker, 10 years down the road, when you're 9.5 years old and watching this, what do you want him to know?
That was cool at some point.
So, do you guys remember Kris Tyson? Ava Kris Tyson? Possibly one of the hottest women of all time. Top 5 baddies, if you ask me.
And now I'm teleported into like a different world. And you have a carousel?
About a year or two ago, they got exposed for being creepy. And this was when they were transitioning, and he was posting, at the time he was a he, but now it's a she, so I don't know what I should say. Kris Tyson was posting weird pics of his kid, and some Discord DMs came out showing how degenerate he was. And I don't know how many of you guys remember this, but at the time, there was this YouTuber that goes by SunnyV2 who made a video saying this will hurt Mrbeast, something along those lines. And when it came out, it was extremely controversial. Sunny was right, and you had stupid idiots like Ludwig and Hassan and others be like, well, this isn't fair to say, how dare you say this? And Mrbeast was crying about it. He was like, oh, leave him alone, they're my best friend. And it turned out that SunnyV2 was right. I remember when I talked about the situation, I was like, yeah, I agree with Sunny. Maybe not on this, but on this. And I remember at the time, I did get a little bit of pushback. SunnyV2 was right about Mrbeast, and SunnyV2 was right about Kris Tyson.
But in April of 2023, Kris publicly announced for the first time that he'd been on HRT, and the results were immediate.
I started taking HRT, and like, I was amazed. Like, after 2-3 weeks, I just started having a mental clarity that it felt like a fog that had been around me just went away.
However, Kris, or well, Ava's announcement was met with mixed reception. However, instead of focusing on why Sunny made the video, people focused on his comments about Chris's personal choices.
I feel like the implication of that sentence is go back. Actually, don't explore what makes you happy. Don't do what you want to do.
My thing is, do whatever you want as long as you're not hurting other people. In Chris's situation or Ava's situation, dude, you're harming your wife. You're legitimately leaving your wife and your kid to pursue this thing that, you know, if you want to pursue, that's fine. In my opinion, shouldn't you like at least experiment before you have a kid and a wife that depend on you before you leave them to go with your new partner? That to me was the part that I think I and a lot of other people had an issue with. Bro legitimately abandoned his wife. In my opinion, if he had thoughts like these for many years, as he claims, I mean, in my opinion, he should have experimented first before getting married and having a kid. This is impacting your wife, well, your former wife, and your kid as well, and how people will treat your kid.
Don't explore what makes you happy. Don't do what you want to do.
And this, of course, brought Sunny a ton of backlash. Not surprised that SunnyV2, a person who profits off ishing on other people at their lowest points, posted another video with an ish take, including from Mrbeast himself. This is getting absurd. Kris isn't my nightmare, he's my friend.
Well, that aged poorly.
All this transphobia is starting to piss me off, and he wasn't the only one who thought Sunny's video was transphobic.
These are people just being like extremely transphobic and disgusting.
All this hate started a campaign against Sunny as more and more videos showed up, exposing his biases towards sensitive topics. Despite the overwhelming negative attention, some people defended Sunny, saying he was allowed to voice his opinions. However, allegations of him being transphobic had been bubbling for some time. It all started when Sunny defended Mrbeast for making this joke.
I was actually born a tank, but sadly it wasn't one of our 52 genders.
And if we take the joke and rank it on a scale from 1 to 10, with 1 being least offensive and 10 being most offensive, it probably wouldn't even hit 1 on the scale.
How the fuck is this transphobic? It's so funny looking back at how people were pissed off at the slightest fucking things just a few years ago. Do I think this joke makes SunnyV2 transphobic? No. People were fucking reaching, and you have NPCs such as Ludwig and Hassan and others being like, oh, this is disgusting. How can you say this? This is so wrong. Going by what people were saying at the time, do I think this makes SunnyV2 transphobic? No. If you get offended at helicopter jokes in 2023 or 2026, you gotta go outside, get off Discord, get off Tumblr, get off Twitter, and talk to real human beings, because no one in real life who's a decent human gets offended at helicopter jokes. Now, sure, one could be like, yeah, that's not funny, and that's valid. I personally don't think it's that funny. Like, yeah, I identify as a helicopter. I mean, I've heard this for like 10 years now, so it's not really that funny. But it's one thing to be unfunny, and it's one thing to be offensive and transphobic. And if we're gonna talk about how offensive this is, this is a 0. Giving it half a point or 1 would be pretty generous. Internet was so different in 2023. Holy.
Mrbeast's position would only get worse as more evidence of Ava talking inappropriately with minors came out, which turned some people's attention away from Ava and towards Mrbeast. The controversy was massive, and Ava tried to clear the situation on X, saying that her past tweets and actions were just edgy jokes and that she had decided to step away from the Mrbeast company for good. However, Mrbeast was facing a PR disaster as people were alleging that YouTube was age-restricting any videos that mentioned Ava's past to help save their golden child's reputation. But eventually, Mrbeast did provide more clarification on the situation. Over the last few days, I've become aware of the serious allegations of Ava Tyson's behavior online, and I am disgusted and opposed to such unacceptable acts.
So, SunnyV2 was right. Chris Tyson actually ended up being the biggest nightmare for Mrbeast. I get it, he's your friend and you want to defend him. To some extent, I respect that. You know, he's been your friend for multiple years. He was your first subscriber. You love him, or her, I guess, in the timeline. Now it's a her. I get that, but at some point, gotta know, hey, yeah, I probably shouldn't defend this person. You should probably either address it or just shut the fuck up and move the fuck on. But I mean, if the evidence is stacking up, just walk away. Just be like, I see. Well, I gotta go now. I think Mrbeast was pretty cringe and a little performative when it comes to how he handled some of the situation, but to some extent, I understand where he's coming from. But yeah, it's a little weird when you're the biggest content creator on YouTube and you make content for essentially little kids and you're promoting this disgusting freak that is Chris Tyson and you constantly promote him in your videos. Yeah, I understand why people will find that weird.
I will allow the independent investigators the necessary time to conduct a comprehensive investigation and will take any further actions based on their findings. And the results of this investigation alleged that there was nothing wrong happening at the company, which got Mrbeast a ton of backlash for obvious reasons. No way. The guys you paid found you innocent. While Mrbeast did remove Ava from his channel once the controversy went public, many people started believing that Mrbeast would do anything to protect his own image, which he did.
To be honest, I didn't really think too much of it because we just had like a lot of anime posters and things up, and it was an animated character that was clothed, obviously. And yeah, knowing what I know about Chapman now is a very weird thing to buy.
This explanation, however, wasn't well received. Even if you didn't know who the artist was, having a photo like that in your house is still effing weird. And the nightmare only got worse as Nathan, another member of Ava's Discord server, came forward with new allegations against her and Mrbeast.
Chris Tyson from Mrbeast used me, manipulated me, and did very inappropriate things with me while I was about 15 years old.
With more evidence coming out, Ava's reputation was slowly disintegrating, one leaked chat at a time.
To make matters worse, he was considering extending the Not Safe for Work channel to also cover gore, meaning he either intended to partake in or welcome the sharing of gore material, again with minors.
The release of these chat logs were controversial, as Nathan's character came into question with people alleging that many of his claims were false. Regardless, the chat logs were real, as were the many inappropriate things Ava shared with minors on there.
I always say this, Discord and Twitter, they're some of the biggest reasons why YouTubers and just content creators overall get exposed because of their server or because of, you know, Twitter interactions. They have mental crash outs and stuff. That is why I don't have a Twitter. That is why I don't have a Discord. If you look back at the history of so many people's downfalls, it all started because of Twitter. They couldn't stop tweeting or they couldn't stop being freaks on Discord. These messages were insane.
But when it comes to SunnyV2, many people agree that he was right about Mrbeast. The man predicted the future, got bashed by everyone online. He didn't apologize. Then a year later, he came out on top. As in his original video, this was the solution Sunny provided Jimmy for the Ava issue.
The only clean solution should things go south might be for Chris to resign himself, and even then rumors and bad press will be unavoidable.
Which is quite scary in how close to reality Sunny's prediction hit. However, much of the hate that was directed towards Sunny turned out to be entirely baseless to begin with, as no one really talked about how Ava's transition would affect Mrbeast's audience. Rather, everyone piled around with pitchforks looking to cancel Sunny for even having an opinion, but they couldn't cancel him because Sunny never responded. Speaks facts, gets called a madman, refuses to apologize, wins. And over time, as Mrbeast has successfully phased Ava out of his channel, many people have expressed their delight at the decision.
I can now watch a Mrbeast video in peace now.
Real. At the time, I used to watch Mrbeast. It was a hard watch anytime Ava Kris Tyson would show up on screen. Like, I would legitimately just turn that shit off. I'll be like, okay, I'm not watching this.
I accidentally pressed 1. The house explodes. Oh my goodness. Where's your mannequin? Bathtub?
This blimp crashes and I die. You guys could just use ZipRecruiter to find a new job. That'll make it so much easier. Thanks, man. I don't like this conversation.
Now, honestly, shout out to SunnyV2. He's a real gangster. He's a real gangster for not backing down. And here's the thing, guys. I'll let you guys in into a little secret. No one could cancel you in the Big 26, all right? Well, truth be told, it never worked. The only person that could cancel yourself is you. Is if you stop uploading, is if you give up, or it's if you start addressing everyone and responding to every single little thing that people are saying about you online. Once you know this little life hack, legitimately, the only person that could stop you is you. I respect Sunny for not backing down. He got hate from everyone. Years later, it turned out he was right. I gotta respect that. I want to be like SunnyV2 when I grow up.
Everyone has changed their perception about Jimmy, who was once a role model for every aspiring content creator, but has now become a corporate sellout in the eyes of many people. Even though all this could have still happened regardless of the Ava Tyson drama, it just goes to show that SunnyV2 was in fact right about Mrbeast.
I do remember at some point it became super popular to hate on SunnyV2, and I get it, you know, trends happen, people jump on the bandwagon, and now everyone hates you. When just a day ago they were your fans, now because some idiots made a video on you, now everyone hates you. I get it, that's the internet. I'm sure there's things you could criticize him for. I'm not saying that every single video he ever made was cinema or perfect, but in my opinion, I think he did more good than bad. Now, once again, am I saying that he was the greatest YouTuber of all time? No. But I think he was overhated. And I don't know where SunnyV2 is, but I hope he's doing well and, you know, he made bank out of this. I'm sure he's laughing at all the people that were hating on him. It's one thing to be critical and be like, well, I don't agree with this Sunny and I don't agree with this Sunny, but it's a whole different thing to just hate on the guy because he was transphobic over a helicopter joke, because he called out Ava Kris Tyson and what trouble it could bring to the Mrbeast company. He was just sharing his opinion, and that's something that we all do, and if you like it, that's great, and if you don't, well, there's like a million other channels that you could go and watch. But yeah, W SunnyV2, look how the tables have turned.